Shameless Pavankar's reminder to Tharoor on 2016 surgical strikes exploitation by BJP. Hours after Shashi Tharoor asserted his remark on the surgical strike was distorted, Congress leader Pavan shared an excerpt from the former's 2018 book The Paradoxical Prime Minister. The part of the text shared by Kheras highlighted Tharoor's criticism of the shameless exploitation of the 2016 surgical strikes as an election tool by the Bharatiya Janata Party BJP. I agree with that. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who wrote about surgical strikes in his book in 2018 The Paradoxical Prime Minister. Reading now. Read Pavankar's ex-post, which appeared to subtly critique Tharoor's recent remarks praising the Modi government's Operation Sindoor. The underlined passage from Tharoor's book, as shared by Pavankar, read, the shameless exploitation of the 2016 surgical strikes along the line of control with Pakistan, and a military raid in hot pursuit of rebels in Myanmar, as party election tools, something the Congress had never done despite having authorized several such strikes earlier, marked a particularly disgraceful dilution of the principle that national security issues require both discretion and nonpartisanship. I agree with that. Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who wrote about surgical strikes in his book in 2018 The Paradoxical Prime Minister. Reading now. pic.twitter.com ASFOH0JT Pavankar Pawan Kheras May 29, 2025. Kheras post comes in the wake of Tharoor's statements in Panama, where he lauded India's counter-terrorism measures, including the 2016 Uri surgical strike and the 2019 Balakot airstrike, as marking a shift in India's approach to terrorism. In an ex-post on Thursday, Tharoor clarified and pointed out that he spoke only about reprisals for terrorist attacks and not about previous wars. After a long and successful day in Panama, I have to wind up at midnight, where with departure for Bogota, Colombia in 6 hours, so I don't really have time for this. But anyway, for those zealots fulminating about my supposed ignorance of Indian valor across the LOC in the past, I was clearly and explicitly speaking only about reprisals for terrorist attacks and not about previous wars, he said. My remarks were preceded by a reference to the several attacks that have taken place in recent years alone, during which previous Indian responses were both restrained and constrained by our responsible respect for the LOC and the IB, Shashi Tharoor clarified. Also read, India will not turn the other cheek. Shashi Tharoor reaffirms firm stance against terrorism. Recently, Udit Raj criticized Tharoor over his statement in Panama as part of the multi-party delegation and called him a spokesperson for the publicity stunts of the BJP. Later, Pavankar and Congress leader Jairam Ramesh also endorsed Udit Raj's criticism, signaling that all is not well within the party. Tharoor is leading an all-party delegation to put forth India's stance against terrorism. His delegation is on a tour to the United States, Guyana, Panama, and other nations. Swipe left for next video. Tharoor was not among the official choices suggested by the Congress to the government for the outreach delegations. Also read, when was the first surgical strike? Armies stand back Shashi Tharoor, but Congress disagrees. Latest blogs.